big salute to all of my military veterans out there, man. Service members who served in the Navy, Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. Man, big salute to you guys, man. I definitely appreciate you and your service. And also big salute to all of my subscribers out there, man. Hey, I started this YouTube channel about 4 weeks ago, so we could say today is my 1-month anniversary. And if you guys have subscribed to Student Pilot Blueprint, I definitely appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to Student Pilot Blueprint, please go ahead and click that subscribe button below. And let's just roll straight off into this content, man. I'm always on the hunt to acquire, new knowledge. And how can I learn from other pilots? I learn from other pilots by their situations, whether it's something that, they could live to see another day and tell, or, some accidents are fatal out here. And like I told you guys before, as pilots, we have to learn from each other. Hey, whatever I go through in my flight career, I want you guys to learn from it. So that's why I created this YouTube channel too, so I can also share my experiences with you guys. So after searching through the NTSB, I was going to say the FAA website, but the NTSB, looking at all of the accidents, going through the different dockets and final reports, I came across one that I would like to share with you guys because I actually learned something from this. So I just want to, share this video with you guys out here. And also in this content, I'm going to show you guys the live footage in ATC from this accident. And I'm glad that both of these pilots, survived this accident. So let's talk about pretty much what happened. Cessna 172, flight school out in Colorado, Centennial Airport, Kilo Alpha, Papa Alpha, Kappa. So if you guys want to go research this airport. And also I have it pulled up right here on the flight simulator too. And we'll kind of get off into this. And if you guys stick to the end, I'm going to try to basically do what ATC recommends to this student pilot in this CFI when the bird strike occurred. So stick to the end. And if you guys just want to fast forward to the end, I'm going to actually try to fly this on the flight simulator. I already got the Cessna 172 set up on short final, so anyway, we got student pilot and a CFI. The student pilot, his age at the time of the accident was 41, and the CFI's age at the time of the accident was 25, I believe. The student pilot had 12 flight hours. I don't believe that student pilot has, ever soloed, at the time of that accident too. So that student pilot just was going out, doing some pattern work, doing some touch and goes. And the CFI at the time had about 325 flight hours. So still brand new, CFI. And you could hear it in his voice, whenever I play this ATC audio for you guys too. So anyway, student pilot is flying. They're flying in the pattern. First, they took off on 17 left. ATC told them to make right traffic to come back to runway 17 right, which they'll have, right traffic to go ahead and start doing their touch and goes. So they took off on 17 left, came back, did their first touch and go on 17 right. Upwind, did their crosswind, downwind, landed again on 17 right. They repeated the same thing, and that's pretty much what you guys are going to do in a pattern. You guys are going to just basically do touch and goes. Touch and goes or full stop landings. But a lot of people who just start flight school, your training is just going to really be in the pattern. So now they come in on their third landing. They end up landing, rolled out for their touch and go. climbed to about 200 feet AGL, and out of nowhere, a flock of geese, you know, came out, hit the plane, which caused a loss of power engine, you know. So for these guys, they're only 200 feet, you know, above the ground. So before I go any further, let's just talk about bird strikes. Bird strikes, they're going to occur usually about 3,000 feet and below. That's where the birds like to fly at. A lot of birds, they're going to fly anywhere between 2,000 to about 10,000 feet. You know, so airplanes, I kind of look at it like a car. You know, when you're driving a car, and I've hit a deer before, you know, you're just driving. You're not really thinking about, man, I'm going to hit a deer today. You know, it's just very spontaneous and it just comes out of nowhere, right? That's how birds are with airplanes. Man, I've been out flying and I'll see a bird just fly, you know, under the plane or somewhere over the plane. And I'm just like, man, it just looked like a bullet. That's how the fast the bird, you know, look like it's moving. So, man, these bird strikes have caused, you know, catastrophic damages, man, to airplanes and also fatalities too. You know, so bird strikes, man, it's a threat to aviation, especially, you know, at low altitudes when we're talking about the most critical phases of flight, you know, your takeoff and your landings. That's when, you know, it's very common, man, for bird strikes out here. You know, so, man, let's just go ahead and roll off into this live video, live ATC, and then we'll come back and kind of gather our thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and do the actual demonstration. You're going to hear ATC basically recommend for them to land on runway 17 left. As you can see, runway 17 left, this is a 10,000 foot runway, which I have up here. The runway length's 10,000 and 7,000. So this runway right here is 10,000 feet. This is a 7,000 foot runway. So ATC just recommended for them to kind of slide over and just go ahead and see if they could put it down on the remaining parts of runway 17 left, you know. But the pilot, he said he was just going to go land right over here in that golf course, you know. So at the end, like I'm telling you guys, man, stick to the end, and I'm going to actually fly this touch and go, and I'm going to try to land on runway 17 left.
Hey, mayday, career track 319, bird strike.
Career track 319, roger, if you need to slide over to 17 left, if there's enough runway there, wind 200 at 3, you're clear to land if you can.
We're trying to get some airspeed, career track 319, climbing, able to maintain slight climb.
Attention all aircraft, everybody else remain at pattern altitude, do not approach the runways. Career track 319, any surface you can get to, you're clear to land.
Career track 319, might have to put it down on the golf course over here.
Wind calm, altimeter 3020.
Career track 319, we're able to maintain a slight climb. I'm going to put it down on the golf course, career track 319.
Career track 319, roger, we're rolling the gear. Career track 246, change to 17 left, runway 17 left, clear to land, your base is approved.
17 left, clear to land, career track 246.
Career track 600, possible fault on the runway, follow the Cessna, turn to base, change to 17 left, runway 17 left, clear to land.
17 left, clear to land, look out for FOD, career track 600, number 2.
Wind 200 at 3. Career track 319, are you still with us? Cessna 172 Mike Tango, stand to unable pattern work at this time, same intentions. Cessna 172 Mike Tango, straight in runway 28. Career track 600, would you guys mind doing a low approach and flying south out, straight out there and taking a look at the golf course for us?
Yeah, we'll do it, we'll report as soon as we can, career track 600.
Career track 246, turn left Alpha 11.
Left Alpha 11, career track 246.
Career track 246, you can taxi via Alpha 8 this frequency.
Alpha 8,
On a
clear check
Colorado
246.
golf course, 2 people walked away with minor injuries after the plane crashed onto the Meridian Golf Club. This is south of Douglas County. Well, we know that South Metro Fire Rescue said crews responded to that scene where the aircraft flipped upside down near the 7th hole. The 2 people on board were able to leave the aircraft before being evaluated by medics on scene.
All right, guys, what's your thoughts? What do you think, happened? How would you have reacted, if this was you? Like I'm telling you guys, I feel that the CFI was a brand new CFI. When the ATC recommended for him to land on runway 17 left, it was like that wasn't even an option to him. He was still talking about he was trying to, climb and, get the airspeed. So right when these geese hit the actual airplane, they just experienced a total loss of power. So what do you guys think? Would you still have kept climbing like the CFI said? Or would you just had gone ahead and tried to put it down on runway 17 left, 200 feet above ground? And this even got me thinking, man, because I like to record my videos when I'm flying. So I went back to a video where I took off at, and I pretty much took a still shot of when I was at 200 feet AGL and start looking around out at the airport to see where would I land, because I'm telling you guys, you're going to brief the plan. You're going to brief what if I'm under 1,000 feet when I'm taking off, where I'm going to land? What if I'm over 1,000 feet, where, am I going to land? But a lot of people don't really think about what are you going to do right when you're right when you just have taken off and you're only at, 200 or 300 feet. So, like I'm just saying, man, this is something that we could just learn from. So kind of, gather your thoughts and think like, man, what would I have done if I was the pilot? Would you have tried to land on runway 17 left? Or would you just put it down over there at the golf course, So, man, this is one of them type of videos, like I'm telling you guys out there, we could learn a whole lot from, especially being a student pilot. And right when that student pilot came down, did his touch and go, and encountered those birds, that's when the CFI, I'm pretty sure said, my control. So that's how it worked. When you're out flying with another pilot, whether it's a CFI or like a co-pilot who's ever flying the plane, they could give up the controls, but you want to verbalize it too. So hopefully that CFI did say, hey, my controls. He hurried up, took controls.
My aircraft.
Your aircraft.
Get at the QR engine.
Was talking to ATC, trying to figure out what he was going to do. And man, I already know when you're in that situation, you don't know what to do. Of course we train, but we don't really want, things to happen in real life. Like I'm telling you guys, man, if you've hit a deer before and it has damaged your vehicle, you can understand, you don't plan for that. No one plans to go out and hit a deer with their cars, or a pilot don't plan to hit birds, especially during one of the most critical phases of flights, So, man, I'm just glad that the CFI did, make a decision that saved both of their lives. When they landed on the golf course, the airplane did, nose over and flip over. But man, I'm just glad these, pilots was able to make it out of this situation out here, man. Turn the pause off. Pause off. Autopilot's off. Let's go ahead and fly this bad boy. Let's slow it down. I don't fly Cessna 172, I fly the Diamond DA-40. But I have flown in the Cessna 172 before, and I flew a Cessna 172. But I'm telling you guys, I love that Diamond, man. I love that Diamond DA-40. If you guys get the opportunity go ahead and try to do a discovery flight and fly a Diamond DA-40. I'm gonna go ahead and get that airspeed down. What's the approach speed on a Cessna 172? Around what, 65? You wanna be landing? I'm gonna hold it right there at about 70. Going full flaps. Let's go full flaps, getting down to 65. I'm gonna cross the threshold at about 65. Diamond DA-40, I'm gonna cross it at about 77. But this Cessna, I'm gonna cross it probably at about 65. All right, let's land it. So the student pilot right now, he'll be landing. He'll be landing. Let's take that power off. The 41-year-old student pilot, he's landing. He's putting flaps back to takeoff. He's taking off. He's full power. He's full power. What's the rotation speed on the Cessna? About 60, 62. All right, bam. Let's climb up 200 feet to about 6,000 feet. We're at full power. Bam, bird strike. Power's out. The CFI said he was still trying to climb. You would stall out that way. Would I be able to make it to runway 17 left? Oh no, probably not. Oh, I would have crashed. I would have crashed. In Microsoft Simulator, you know, is not going to be real life, but it's as close to real life as it gets. So, you know, but anyway, they seem to have much more power, you know, than me, because they made it all the way to the golf course. So big shout out to that CFI man who, you know, made it to the golf course, saved the student pilot. And hopefully those two pilots, you know, have made it back out to training and got back into the air and didn't let this moment, you know, diminish their confidence, man, as being a pilot, man. So anyway, man, if you guys got any questions, hit me up on my email, studentpilotblueprint@gmail.com. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Fly smart and stay sharp.